second of the 4 quarter-finals of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship in Changsha. Two-time champions Japan set to take on two-time bronze medalist Qatar. Evenly matched, both 3 and 2 in the second round. The prize is a place in the semi-finals and a guaranteed spot in the qualifying tournament for the 2016 Olympics. Paulo Kennedy alongside me. What can we expect from this one here today?
Well, I think we can expect a game of contrasting styles. We've got Qatar, who are the most patient team in the tournament. They love to walk the ball up the floor, take their time, execute in the half court. They have enormous amount of belief in their ability to create shots and make shots in the half court. They love to run the pick and roll and then pick the opposition defense apart. 2 of their 3 losses in this tournament, though, have come against East Asian teams who like to push the pace in China and Chinese Taipei. They did have a victory over Korea, though, where they were able to control the tempo, make it a slow-down game. And the way they did that was by controlling the boards. So rebounding, we see Mohd Mohammed being introduced there. He's going to be one of the keys for them. They must control the boards, slow this game down, keep Japan from running and shooting in rhythm, which they are so good at. And we'll see if they can do that today. The question mark for them is the injury over Trey Johnson. He injured a groin in the second last game of the second round. He was rested from the game against China. How ready to go is he? Because he's the linchpin. He's the man who sets up the teammates. He's the man who makes the big shots down the stretch. And talk about contrasting styles. Japan, they play with all the energy of the rising sun. They love to push the ball. They love to share it. They've got players all over the court who are dangerous from multiple positions, who can shoot from outside, penetrate, pass. So they're a dynamic offensive team. And that's just on offense. Defensively, they love getting up the floor. They've got their 2 point guards, Tabuse and Hashimoto, who are extremely dangerous. They love getting up in the grill of their opponent, trying to force turnovers. Let's see if they can do that tonight.
An intriguing quarter-final matchup coming up, but first we'll pause with the national anthems, starting with Qatar.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Japan.
Japan started with a tough 38-point loss to Iran before winning 4 of their last 5. A 71-point mauling of Malaysia, an 18-point win over India. They fell just short against the Philippines, going down by 7, but responded with a 7-point win over Palestine and a 27-point win over Hong Kong. Qatar started with a narrow 4-point win over Kazakhstan, then a big double overtime win over Lebanon that both carried through into the second round, then came back-to-back defeats by 8 against Chinese Taipei and by 11 against Jordan. They responded with a hugely impressive 6-point win over Korea before going down by 24 to China. This one just looks too close to call. Alongside me, our expert analyst Paulo Kennedy is going to guide you through the team rosters and the starting fives here in the second quarter-final of the day.
No question, this is a very close one to call. The question mark over Trey Johnson's groin. He's been the star for Qatar. Watching him warm up out there as we see our referees from Indonesia, Korea and Iran. Watching Johnson warm up, he's moving pretty freely. He never gets it up too much of a pace. He's a very controlled basketballer, but he looks like he's good to go. And that is good news for Qatar as we see their roster. His partner in crime is number 6, Saad Abdul Rahman Ali, and he has been superb. The 30-year-old, he's always under control. He and Johnson take it turns just to settle this team down. And then you see the 2 youngsters, Hassan Mohammed and Abdul Rahman Saad. They're the speed in this team. They're the guys who give them that burst of energy. They've started the last 2 games. Today we see Johnson back in the starting lineup, just Abdul Rahman Saad at number 10 there in the guard position, and the 2 big guys inside, Irfan Ali Saad and Mohd Mohammed, big, mean, athletic rebounding machines, and it's going to be so crucial that they can get that job done today, particularly against a really mobile Japanese front court who are going to challenge them to get out, defend, and then recover to the boards. And we see the Japanese team there, and I expect to see quite a bit of zone from Qatar to test the mobility of that Japanese lineup. And so crucial, the likes of Matsui, Tanaka, Furukawa, Hiyajima and Ono are on song, hitting not just from the perimeter but from mid-range, where Japan are able to create a lot of good-looking shots. We see the man in the middle there. He's listed as a power forward, but he's the big guy in this team, Joji Takeuchi. He's like the Asian equivalent of Spanish star Pau Gasol. He can do a bit of everything, step out, hit the shot, take it on the drive, find teammates, and it's going to be a fascinating battle between the thick bodies of the Qatari big men and the sublime skills of Takeuchi.
For the second time on this court already today, it's a conflict of styles in the quarterfinals. Now we're going to have the same outcome of the big team, the methodical team, the power team moving through to the final 4. Or is it going to be Japan, those quick sharpshooters who take down the big giants of Qatar?
These teams have met 6 times at the FIBA Asia Championship. Qatar lead 5-1. In fact, the last time Japan triumphed over Qatar was in 1991. Mind you, they won that game 95-40, so that was a convincing game. But their last meeting was in 2013. Qatar prevailed by 1 point. 6 Qataris returned from that game, 4 Japanese. So let's see if Japan can turn the tables.
2 sets of players have been introduced. We've been through the rosters and the starting 5s, and all that's left to do is to play this quarter-final. You can see the Qatar players pumped, motivated, ready. A huge opportunity to move into the Olympic qualifying tournament, to move into the final 4 of this tournament, and to potentially finish with a medal. We're already in China for this 2015 FIBA Asia Championship quarter-final. Myself, Tim Long, alongside analyst Paulo Kennedy, set to talk you through the action in Chongsha. The 2-time champions Japan taking on the 2-time bronze medalist Qatar. Very few people would pick one of these 2 for the podium, but the prize today is huge. One of the coveted spots in the Olympic qualifying tournament and a place in the semi-finals to go 1 win away from a medal. It's Japan who start with the ball. Tabuse handed it back by Hirose. Hiyashima, really impressive tournament for him so far, and an impressive start to this one.
Hiyashima, he will be in contention for the All-Star 5. I'm not sure if he'll make it, but his name deserves to be in that discussion.
He could certainly have a bigger part in the discussion with his performance here today. Saad, Abdi. Abdi looking to get in, has it knocked away, and then deflected away into Japan possession with Hiyashima. Tabuse. Here's Hiyashima puts it up from mid-range this time, but can't hit his second shot.
Really good defensive start from Japan. It's so important they don't allow this game to settle into a half-court grind.
Trey Johnson moving fine, scoring right from the start. Japan going to slow it down here with Tabuse.
Zone defense from Qatar.
Hirose to Takeuchi. Back out to the perimeter, they'll shoot the three and they will nail the three. Really good start here for Japan.
It looked like a matchup zone from Qatar there, and I think the Japanese offense is close to the best zone offense in the tournament. Let's see if they can pick it apart early.
Qatar answering back with one from mid-range.
And that's Johnson's bread and butter. We talk about the mobile bigs of Japan. They've got to be much more aggressive defending Johnson coming off that ball screen.
So 2 field goals already for Trey Johnson. Tabuse. Hiyashima. Those 2 are the 2 scorers so far for Japan. Shot clock down to 3 here as he looks to work his way inside. Hiyashima high off the glass, difficult shot won't go.
4 Qataris on the boards that time. They know how important that is for them to control the tempo.
Here's Trey Johnson again. All 4 of Qatar's points so far. This time he looks to turn into facilitator as Abdi misses from the corner. Tabuse onto Hiyashima. Takeuchi forced back to Hiyashima. Tabuse. Takeuchi. Hiyashima into Takeuchi. Shot clock down to 5. Little hesitation, puts it up. And gets the drop as well. Takeuchi, I think, is going to have a tough game today, but he gets that one to go.
Well, he has probably the softest hands of any big man in the tournament, but that was the epitome of a shooter's roll that time.
He's had some huge games over the course of the last week. He's got a real physical battle on his hands inside in this one. Knocked away by Hiyashima, grabbed by Tabuse. And then a foul.
And I think we're going to see a little bit of that throughout the game today. Qatar are going to try and save their foul so that they can do exactly this. Don't let Tabuse away in the open court. If you haven't seen him play, the man is lightning. He had a brief stint with the Phoenix Suns in the NBA. This is his debut at the FIBA Asia Championship, even though he's 34 years of age. And he had a slow start to the tournament, but he's been lightning since.
Takeuchi, there's the hesitation on the shot again, and this time a foul underneath on Saeed.
And that was a big hip, smashing him in the face. And as you said, he's going to have a tough night. No doubt he's been identified by Qatar as the one genuine big man threat. And look at that contact. He's going to have to wipe the tears out of his eyes to make these free throws.
It's the second foul early on Saeed as well.
Looks like he's actually being substituted out. Can't take the free throws, Takeuchi. And Furukawa will come in to shoot 2 from the line.
So Takeuchi a little shaken here as he takes a seat on the bench. Of course, they can't take any chances with a head injury. And Furukawa makes the first from the line. Takeuchi still getting seen to. They need him in the game. Giving up so much size against this Qatar team. Furukawa able to get them both to go. Japan have made a promising start, lead by 5.
Atsuya Ota, he's the reserve centre, but he has been a disappointment in this tournament for Japan. Maybe this is the day. It's his 3rd FIBA Asia Championship without ever consolidating his spot in this Japanese team and in the main rotation. So if Takeuchi's on limited minutes, this could be the day for him to finally step up.
Saad. Here's Johnson to take on the 3. Able to hit, rebound grabbed by Honor. Quick pass to Tabuse. Takes on the long 2 and hits the long 2. And Japan have a scoring touch at the start of this one. And they force Qatar to call timeout. Japan leading by 7. They've hit 4 of their 7 attempts from the field so far.
And they will love seeing Tabuse in that frame of mind. When he's on the go, he's a special point guard for them.
5 early points for Tabuse and 11 early points for Japan. They lead Qatar by 7, and it's actually 4 of 6 from the field, the start that Japan have made, but the negative for them is the injury at the moment to Takeuchi. We'll have to see if he can continue.
We see Trey Johnson there, a quick start for him, but a very controlled start, just working his way off the ball screen, nailing down a couple of trademark jump shots.
We're the only player for Qatar to score so far. We're 4 minutes in.
3-2 zone or a 1-2-2 zone from Japan.
Trey Johnson with the ball again, has to control it on half court, able to save it. Shot clock at 6. Qatar looking to get inside. Japan forced a tough shot. Batted away back into Qatar possession with Saad and then Johnson. Johnson hanging one high, getting the contact, and will go to the line for 2.
And just some over-exuberance from Japan there, trying to recover that defensive rebound. The last thing you can afford to do with this man, Johnson, is open up penetration. He's not the world's greatest three-point shooter. He can hit from that sort of range, but he's much more dangerous when he's getting into mid-range jump shots or getting to the hole to finish or create for teammates.
He's actually only shooting 21% from the three-point line. In the tournament, Trey Johnson 48% inside, 2 of 2 from the foul line.
And I think you'd find most of those threes he has hit have been on big occasions. You know, shot clock winding down or late in the game when they need a 3. But he's not the catch and shoot sort of guy as we see Takeuchi checking back into the game.
Huge positive for Japan here. Takeuchi back in, Furukawa, Tabuse. Across to Furukawa, who's going to shoot the 3. He's going to nail the 3, and Japan's hot scoring touch continues.
And so often Japan go to that play, a ball screen on one side and then a flare screen on the other, which opens up the shooter on the wing, and that time Furukawa with a big shot.
And it goes to Mo Mohammed. Across to the far side to Saad. He's going to drive into the paint. First shot won't go, and Japan get another stop. Tabuse towards the baseline, took a bit of contact, lost the handle on the ball.
I don't think Japan will mind that too much. They prefer to see running down the floor, getting the occasional mistake, rather than walking it up the floor and playing cautious basketball, which plays into Qatar's hands.
Trey Johnson, now Mo Mohammed. Entry pass goes in towards Abdullah, who gets contact as he puts it in.
And on that last play, the ball went inside to Mo Mohammed on the previous possession, and we saw 4 Japanese defenders in the paint. And that's, I think, what they're going to do all night as we see Ota check into the ball game. As I said, it's a great day for him to stand up. Japanese basketball hasn't been at the level they were used to in the past, and today is a great chance for them to get back into the Final Four.
Trey Johnson for the long 2, able to knock it down, and Trey Johnson has 6 points out of, or 8 points for Qatar, beg your pardon.
So Japan into a zone there. Johnson picked out the big man on the wing and went one-on-one with him for the pull-up. Let's see if Japan are forced to adjust to that.
Furukawa, who hit a 3 on the last offensive possession. This time looking to move inside, gets fouled.
And often people think about offenses being cuts and screens and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes it's as simple as going against a zone and finding the mismatch in that zone. So some really intelligent play that time from Johnson and Qatar.
Ota moving it on to Tabuse. Tabuse prodding and probing, moving it around the perimeter. Takeuchi is moving fine after that injury. Unable to hit though. Trey Johnson can get somebody else involved for Qatar. Saad. Abdi looking to go in towards Mo Mohammed. There's the entry pass now. One-on-one with Takeuchi. And bullies it into the basket.
And Japan just far too slow with the help defense that time. Takeuchi can't keep Muhammad off the block. So as soon as Muhammad catches the ball, there's got to be Japanese singlets there to close him down.
Hijima onto Otta. Tabuse. Japan's lead has been cut to 4. Takeuchi getting free mid-range, gets Abdi up in the air. Lovely move, and he gets the finish.
He is as slippery as an eel in the low post. Little up fake, and that first step is just so quick. He leaves bigger defenders trailing in his wake.
He's averaging a double-double in the tournament. This Takeuchi, key for Japan to have him back on the floor. When it goes from Johnson. Otta cutting off the route to the rim down the baseline. Abdi's going to put it up from the outside this time. Short, Takeuchi trying to grab the rebound. Furukawa comes away with it. Tabuse able to reel away from Johnson, who wanted to travel. Furukawa for 3. Off the mark, Takeuchi with the offensive board. Looking to be slippery again, draws the contact.
Tabuse got away with a little travel there at half court. But defensively, as we see, the multiple up fakes from Takeuchi before he draws the foul. At the other end of the floor, Japan had gone into a 2-3 zone. Twice in a row, Qatar drew one of the big men out to the perimeter in the corner and exposed him. So that time they went back to the 1-2-2 so the big men could stay closer to the basket.
A colossal performance for Joji Takeuchi on Monday, 21 points and 19 boards. And then on Tuesday, 17 points, 8 boards and 3 assists in just 20 minutes.
You know, he's shooting 58% from two-point range, but 40% from outside as well. He can do it all at the offensive end.
And doing it from the foul line as well to give Japan an 8-point advantage with just over 7 minutes played. Now goes Abdul Rahman Saad, Qatar. Nice quick pass from Mohd Mohammed in towards Mohamed Abdullah, and he will go to the line for 2.
And Japan, they make their adjustment going to the 1-2-2, and there's the hole in it right down the middle. So really good roll to the basket from Abdullah, exposing that space.
Just a brief role in this team at these championships for Mohamed Abdullah. 9.5 minutes a game, 1.7 points, 2 rebounds. His foul shots looking to get Qatar close. He splits the pair. 7-point differential. Tabuse. Furukawa, foot on the line, it'll be a long 2. And he nails it. They called it a 3. Looked to me like he had a foot on the line.
That's what the referee sees that counts, and a big shot there for Japan. They're out by 10, 32 points already scored in the first 8 minutes. This game is right on Japan's terms.
Hijima coming away with it on the fast break. There's the hesitation. He can't bank it in.
Wasted opportunity there. They would love to be out by 12 or 15 at quarter time.
Johnson slows it down, finds Abdullah, almost had his pocket picked by Tabuse. Across to the far side, they put it to 3. Mohammed off the mark. Offensive board gives them more time to work with. Final 90 seconds or so of the first quarter. Japan pick it off again, and here they come in transition once more. Racing down court, Hijima makes no mistake this time.
Doesn't make the same mistake twice, and again, the active arms of Japan's guards in the zone. We see them out on the perimeter, then closing inside the paint for rebounds and help defense. They're really on their game so far today.
Johnson looking to get between 2 out to the corner to Abdullah. He misses the outside shot, and Takeuchi grabs the rebound. Here comes the quick incisiveness of Japan again, and all the way to the hoop goes Otta, and he draws the contact as well, and will go to the line for the extra 1.
And we wondered before the game, will Japan dare to win? Will they fall for the same trap as we see Otta flying to the basket? Will they fall for the same trap that Korea did by being sucked into a half-court game? Well, there's been no danger so far.
They have shot the ball superbly. 3 of 4 from the outside, 6 of 10 from 2-point range, and Qatar calling timeout down by 14. It could be 15 when we come back.
Well, the activity of the defense, that's what it's all about with Japan. You know, they are helping and recovering, and I quoted the Philippines coach Tab Baldwin earlier in the tournament that if you've got your hands down in defense, it's not a trap, it's just two guys out of position. But so far today, almost every time a Japanese player is defending the ball, his arms are up, he's forcing it into a tough pass or getting a deflection. And then at the other end, they have moved the ball. We talked about every Japanese player being a threat on offense, and we'll see it here. Some excellent screen action, some great ball movement, and then some outstanding work in the half court. They're called the Hayabusa. It's the falcon, the quickest bird in Japan, and at the moment, they're flying up and down the court.
8 points for Furukawa, leading the way in the first quarter for Japan. He's hit a couple from downtown, one of them contentious as to whether it was a 2 or a 3. Takeuchi back in the game after an injury, has 6 points and 4 rebounds. And at the line with a chance to complete a 3-point play is Atsuya Ota. He misses, so it remains a 14-point lead.
Big minute for Qatar here. If they can get a couple of baskets and a stop, all of a sudden they're back within 10 points, and it feels like it's within striking distance. But if it goes the other way, it's going to be a long way back.
3-pointer for Qatar is off the mark again. They're now 0 of 5 from downtown. Make it 0 of 6 after that one. Abdullah's missed a few of them. Hiroshima. Furukawa going to try another one from the outside. 3 3-pointers in the first quarter for Furukawa, and he was shooting just 24% from the outside coming into this one.
He was just getting his eye in through the first 6 games. He's on fire, and he is such a dangerous shooter, as he's shown already.
Qatar could do with the score, and they get one right to the end of the first.
Watch out for Tabusi here.
Just a few seconds to work with. They pull up for another 3, off the mark this time, but what a huge first quarter for Japan. 28 points. They lead Qatar by 15, behind the 11 of Furukawa, who's hit 3 from downtown. Takeuchi 6 points, 5 for Tabuse, 4 for Hiroshima. They've had all of their weapons firing in the opening 10 minutes. And at the end of 1, it's Japan 28, Qatar 13.
And it was just a matter of time before Furukawa found his range in this tournament. And we see Japan 4 of 6 from long range, Qatar none of 6. Both of them going against zone defenses most of the time, and that explains the difference in the game. You can exploit zone defenses with those open shots, and another big difference, Qatar with 4 turnovers. And how about the way Japan are attacking off each of those turnovers, looking to get layups at the other end. That was a great start. Yeah, they had to hit their 3-point shots. You talk about an aggressive approach on defense, but you also got to be aggressive enough to step up and hit your shots, and Trey Johnson hasn't had any problem with that so far this tournament. You have a look at some of these makes inside. There's a lucky bounce on that one. It was a standout quarter from Takeuchi. Even after he copped that hit right to the face, we see a little bit of blood there coming out of the mouth. And that was one of the few times that Qatar could exploit their size inside, whereas Japan were exploiting their quickness all quarter long. And here's Furukawa. He hit 43% from long range for his club team last season, so he had some struggles early on in the tournament. That was never going to last.
Yeah, he was 8 of 34 from downtown in this tournament coming into this game. Furukawa now 3 of 4 so far here today. Start of the second quarter, Japan leading Qatar 28 to 13. Qatar at a point now where they really can't afford to let Japan grow this lead any further.
Again, the 1-2-2 zone from Japan.
Starts, goes in towards the big man. Mohamed going to work, getting it to go, and a chance at a 3-point play right off the bat at the start of the second quarter. Exactly what they need.
It seems whenever the ball goes into the big fella, look at his bulk there. Just gets a slight bit of contact, but it was enough to get the whistle. And he's able to finish through that. We talk about Qatar being a slow down team, and that works so well in close games. But this is a big test for them. They haven't had to come back from such a big margin so far in the tournament. Can they grind their way back into it slowly? Can they lock down the Japanese offense?
Mohammed fails to complete the three-point play. It was only his second shot of the game so far. He's made them both. It's to do with finding him a little more often inside, you feel. There's Furukawa. Leading scorer in the game with 11. He's got the hot hand right now. This time he's going to drive inside, pulls back for the 2 and nails it. And Furukawa has 13.
He's still seeing the ring like a hula hoop at the moment. He was cut out. That was some outstanding defense, and yet he's still just a little push off, leaning off the one foot, and he nails the jumper.
He goes to the big man this time. Mohammed misses that one. Japan trying to save it, and Tabuse had to hurdle his own bench. Still Qatar ball.
That was one small step for Mohammed, but a giant leap for Tabuse.
On it goes by Ali Saad to Abdullah. Trey Johnson. 2 left to shoot here. I don't think that Mohammed was aware of the shot clock, and the cut towards the basket from Abdi.
You have to love the defensive hustle there, out of his position in the zone, but Tabuse willing to cover down inside and make that pass just that little more difficult than it originally was going to be.
Furukawa to Tabuse, 15-point Japan lead. Kiyojima trying to wriggle away from Mohammed, and able to go through the gears, able to slice through the defense, and able to finish.
That's a great description, Tim. He wriggled his way around. Fantastic defensive job initially by Mohammed, but Kiyojima just kept going at him, and that's what made him such a standout for Japan in the tournament.
On by Abdi. Ali Saad back to Abdi, looking to drive inside, over to the far side. Can they finally hit from downtown? They can, with the foul as well. So having missed their first 6 from the outside, they get a chance at a 4-point play.
He's been impressive in this tournament, Hassan Mohammed. He's just a youngster. It's his first FIBA Asia Championship, but he's deadly from long range if you give him that sort of room. And he's been a spark plug for them. He comes in, he has no fear. A half-open shot like that one, he's going to fire. And, perhaps they're going to need a burst from him and Abdul Rahman Saad just to try and get this game closer to even terms, where their grinding style of play can become effective once again.
They do get a 4-point play from him, so it is a 13-point deficit now. Furukawa, the leading scorer, who's got 13. Takeuchi. Tabuse out to Kiyojima for 3. Off the mark, Abdi trying to grab the rebound, can only bat it out of bounds, and it's still Japan ball.
You do notice this game just becoming a bit more of a half-court affair. And Qatar looking over after the ball a little bit better in the first 2 and a bit minutes of this quarter, and it's so crucial they don't turn the ball over, because when they do, they are being punished by Japan.
Takeuchi getting away down the baseline, again lovely composure under the rim, and he puts it in.
He's just got so many skills. I mean, you can just imagine him, his twin brother Kosaka also plays for the national team. He's not here today, but some of the battles they had in the driveway growing up, where he learned those great one-on-one skills.
Knocked away, Qatar turn it over. Off the fingertips of Abdi. It's not clicking for Qatar.
Well, they've been the kings of composure so far the tournament, but at the moment you just see them looking around, a little bit of finger pointing going on, and they need to get back on track. As I said, they have to grind it out. It's going to take the next 2.5 quarters for them to get back into this game, and they can't lose patience early on.
We're down by 15. We've got a foul here on Trey Johnson. First on Johnson. Non-shooting foul, so Japan to inbound. Hiyajima, 6 points, 3 assists and 3 steals already in the game. Ono back to Hiyajima. Takeuchi moving inside. Here's Ono once more. Looking to drive into the lane himself and is fouled by Ali Saad.
Ali Saad thinking he got all ball on that one. He did it extremely quickly. It was a good defensive stand. But the referee said there was a little bit of contact. Certainly there was some contact to the chest early on, but there was a clean strip at the end.
This foul does send Japan to the line. 8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds a game for Yuma Ono in 17 minutes a game on court so far.
And we see his crafty move inside. He can also shoot the 3-ball from outside. And even though he's undersized at the power forward position, he makes it very difficult for opposition teams because he can step out. As soon as his man goes to help, he can nail it with the jump shot.
He's shooting over 50% from the outside, so Qatar will be wary of that. And another turnover for them. They're down by 16 and Japan have an opportunity to grow the lead. It's turnover number 7. Japan have only had 1.
And again, just see some Qatari players, a couple of them drop their heads, some questions being asked, some fingers being pointed, and Japan will just be delighted with the way this game is playing out. They are the ones on the front foot at both ends of the floor.
Takeuchi might turn to go one-on-one, he does. Help defense came across and knocked away. Saad is fouled on half court by Tabuse.
Really good recognition from Tabuse because Saad is so dangerous in the open floor. And he's the one perhaps Qatar need to spark them. We saw him do it against Lebanon earlier in the tournament when Qatar were 15 points down at halftime. Saad came in. It was his attack on the basket that sparked his older teammates, and Tabuse there not wanting to give him the chance to get going.
Trey Johnson moved on by Daoud to the corner. They'll try the 3. They'll hit the 3 with Ali Saad.
The stats will tell you that Ali Saad is only shooting 25% from long range, but he's not someone you want to leave open. Perhaps at crucial times, he's the best three-point shooter for Qatar.
Hiyajima, no-look pass towards Takeuchi, closed down by Daoud, turns away, can't get it to go, neither can Ono. Tabuse will be able to recover though. Takeuchi. That one won't go in either, and finally Qatar come away with it. Saad.
You see 2 Japanese defenders harassing him in transition. That's clearly on the scouting report for Japan.
Forced away from the baseline by Takeuchi. Here's Trey Johnson. And a foul called on Hiyajima. 8 points early on for Trey Johnson. He's not scored since.
You saw there again, 2 Japanese defenders ready to defend Johnson. They're not leaving anything to chance. It's all about energy for them, and that's exactly what they need to do to win.
Saad trying to walk the tightrope to stay in bounds and stepped on the line. Mo Mohammed back into the game. Now goes Ali Said.
13 points seems like a big margin at this point in the game, but you know, 2 or 3 good possessions for Qatar and bad possessions for Japan, and the complexion of this game changes very quickly.
Hiyajima, midway point of the second quarter. Ono. Nowhere to go for him at the moment. Shot clock down to 5 as he has it knocked away. And Qatar forcing the turnover.
Bit of a change in approach here from Qatar. They've got Mo Mohammed in the middle, but they've got Ali Saad and Daoud at the forward positions. They're both guards traditionally, so they're going with a very mobile lineup because They haven't been able to switch the screening action of Japan, and it's been so effective. Now look for them to switch everything with Muhammad just anchoring the middle.
Muhammad up against Takeuchi and rejected from behind by Hijima. Tabuse looking to burst away, fouled by Daoud.
That's just the third team foul, but again, a turnover, a missed shot. Japan just looking to get out. And how about this from Hijima? We've talked about his all-around contribution on offense, doing it on defense there.
Foul was by Musa Daoud. Khalid Abdi back into the game. Trey Johnson takes a seat. He's had 3 of Qatar's 8 turnovers. Tabuse. Hijima. Oh, lovely footwork. He can't get the shot to drop. Tabuse. Furukawa. Hijima. Going to shoot the 3 this time. Not able to come away with the rebound. Almost throws it back into Hijima's hands. How quick was he trying to pick that one off? It's halfway out of the pressure. The 3 no good for them by Ali. End-to-end stuff now as Hijima moves on to Takeuchi. Ono arriving late, moved it on quickly back to Furukawa for another 3, short this time.
And Ali's last shot in transition, he can hit that, and he's hit a couple of big ones like that in the tournament, but they want slower, more patient shots.
Abdi able to get it to go, and makes it an 11-point game, so Qatar have started to edge closer, started to cut the deficit down. And others have started to get into their scoring touch and their scoring areas. And Japan have been forced into calling a timeout, down by 11, 35-24.
And again, the ball goes into the low post to Mo Muhammad, and good things happen. That time he drew the double team, the rotation from Japan was slow, and it finishes up in a layup. If you just look at the last 2 or 3 minutes, you see this big 3-pointer from Hassan Muhammad. Japan have had some great looks and some really good opportunities, and they've missed them. And they were hot earlier in the game. They've now cooled off 50% from the field. Still 44% from the 3-point line, but just missed some easy opportunities. And as soon as they stop ticking the scoreboard over, Qatar are able to get into their grind, and we see another 3-pointer from the quarter. It's so crucial that when Japan get out in the open court, they put points on the board and enable them to set up their pressure defense.
Little hints are there that the momentum has started to swing slightly in this one. Japan have missed their last 3 attempts from the outside now, having made 4 of their first 6. Just 1 turnover for them in the first 13 minutes and a couple since then. Mo Muhammad has had a big impact for Qatar. Japan still lead by 11. 3.5 to play in the first half. Tabuse. Hijima with the pass in towards Takeuchi. Can he rig it away from the defense? He's fouled.
And some Qatar players toying with a technical foul here. That's the last thing they need at the moment. We see a nice feed inside. Again, Takeuchi with patience. And that's clearly a foul. His arm was way out of its cylinder. And a good call from the referee on the weak side.
Takeuchi will be given the opportunity to move into double figures. Qatar not happy at the moment.
Matsui into the game. I think that's the first time we've seen him today. And he's probably their #1 spark plug off the bench, in that if he catches the ball and he's half open, that ball is going up. And we talked about the lead-up games to this tournament against the Czech Republic. He hit 4 3-pointers in a quarter. And I think with things going well in the first quarter and a half, as Takeuchi makes the first, they didn't feel the need to put Matsui into the ball game. Now, it was back to 11. Things weren't going their way. Look for him to come in and give them a burst.
He's a player shooting 45% from the 3-point line. Matsui. Takeuchi stuck on 9 points. His first miss from the foul line, 3 of 4. lead is 12. Here's Daoud. Onto the corner. Saad. Mohamed. Shot clock down to 5. Long 3. Is too long, and the rebound secured by Ono.
Good rotations there from Japan. They'll be happy to see Ali firing from a metre outside the three-point line. He might make some of them, but generally it's going to end up in a long rebound, and sometimes that's going to mean a fast break for Japan.
Hirose had it knocked away from behind, thought he was fouled. Here's Daoud. To drive right to the heart of the defense and finish.
Daoud hasn't really been an offensive threat so far in this tournament, but he's an experienced player. He's been around this team now. This is his 5th FIBA Asia Championship. And maybe he's the man who can step up for them and turn the momentum as it's back to 10.
Yajima left hand onto the right, spins back, finds Hirose for the 3. Got it. Japan firing from the outside again.
Massive shot. Hirose, he's been an energy guy in transition, but that time makes a crunch three-pointer.
Final 2 minutes of the first half. Japan's lead now 13. Ali, what a pass that is, inside, right through to Mo Mohamed, who's left with the easy deuce.
Qatar have clearly identified that pass from the top of the key down the middle as the real weakness in the Japanese zone.
Takeuchi. Fist pass from him into Hirose. Foul called.
There'll be free throws to come. We talked about this stage of the first quarter as being really important, where it can go one of two ways. It can be back to a 6 or 8 point ball game. Japan can push it out and be very comfortable at halftime. And you know, fatigue starts to set in this deep in the quarter. It's so important that both teams are able to execute.
Hirose having hit that big 3-pointer, now a chance to add 2 more points from the foul line. He was only shooting 27% from the outside coming into this one, so shooters for Japan, who we know have the ability but haven't quite done it at this tournament, are stepping up in this first half.
That's what I love about Japan. They have such confidence in each other. They believe all 5 players are a threat, and they'll just move the ball to whoever is open.
Japan lead by 13, and it goes to the number 13, Mo Mohamed, who spins and puts it in.
It's almost getting to a point where Japan are going to have to switch up this zone defense, because Qatar starting to get regular baskets down the middle.
They'll shoot another 3. No good for Matsui. His first attempt from the outside, but an offensive board.
Great tip from Takeuchi there.
Hiyajima. Final minute of the first half. Hiyajima. Left hand back onto the right. Denied, but a foul.
And again, what about the dribble move from Hiyajima? He's been shaking and baking all night long. That time he gets swatted, but he'd already drawn the contact.
The number 6 has 6 points so far, and adds 1 more from the line. 4 assists, 3 steals. Even the block shot for Hiyajima, who's been doing a bit of everything. Makes his foul shots and restores Japan's 13-point advantage.
Well, let's see if there's any adjustment here from Japan. One answer is getting better ball pressure. Make that pass difficult for the guy with the ball.
Saad. Mo Mohamed looking to make himself available again. Moves it on this time. Abdi puts it up on the pirouette and puts it in.
In fact, that time Japan going to man-on-man defense, and a tough move from Abdi to finish off.
Final 30 seconds of the half. Hiyajima. Matsui back to Hiyajima again, and he's fouled by Saad. Couple of quick fouls for Saad. Now has 3.
That's just clever from Hiyajima. He saw Saad had his weight going forward, and he put his head down, drew the contact. And when the defender's moving forward, it's an easy call for the ref. And Hiyajima has been a standout in this first half. He's been probably as responsible as any other Japanese player for this 11-point lead.
He's back at the line again, where he hit both a couple of moments ago. And 8 points make it 9, a chance to move into double figures. This is that one. And the rebound grabbed by Mohammed. Trey Johnson. Only 3 seconds the difference between the shot and game clock at the end of the first half. Johnson going to slow it down. Qatar hoping for the final shot of the first half here as Johnson spins into the lane. Can't get it to go. Japan still have 7 seconds to work with as they move quickly down court. And they get the quick basket with Diki Tanaka scoring right at the end of the first half. And you saw the reaction of the Japanese bench just there. It's been a wonderful display here. Over 20 minutes from them, 46 points to lead Qatar by 14. At the half, Japan 46, Qatar 32.
And who else but Hiyajima to finish that off? He was left isolated one-on-one against Trey Johnson, one of the toughest assignments in this tournament. He closed him down, he got the rebound, and then a perfect outlet pass through traffic to set up the buzzer beater. And look at those offensive rebounding numbers. If you'd said to me at the start of the game, Japan at halftime would have twice as many offensive rebounds, and they would have shot 15 free throws to 6 at halftime against their bigger opponents, I would have thought you were crazy. One thing I would have believed, though, Japan have forced twice as many turnovers, 8 turnovers to Qatar. We see there Furukawa, he was the man who sparked them early with 13 points, but it's been a team effort, as it always is for Japan. Takeuchi with 9, Hiyajima with 9, and some standout basketball from him. He's been one of the smartest men on the court. And we see then again team effort, Ono with 5 boards, and Mohd Mohammed for Qatar. He's been one of the few shining lights for them.
Hiyajima's late basket not added on to those stats, so actually 11 points for him now to trail the 13 of Furukawa, 2 in double figures for Japan, who started quickly and never really took their foot off the gas at any point in that first half.
Yeah, there were moments perhaps where it looked like Qatar were getting the game back on their terms. Japan unable to force those turnovers and were playing half-court basketball. So we see this one from Tabusi, and that just summarises the energy he's played with so far today. And he's been the leader. And this man, Hirose, that's Japanese basketball for you. They can all do a little bit of everything. Hirose not shooting the ball well coming into this tournament, but he makes that one anyway. Hassan Mohammed was happy with that three-pointer. And Ali from the corner as well. That was just when it looked like the momentum was coming back, and Daoud with a tough finish inside. And there was the hole in the Japanese zone. But the holes have been in the Qatari defense all over the place. It's Qatar by 14 at halftime. In fact, it's Japan by 14 at halftime.
The second half, in around 10 minutes' time, Japan 46, Qatar 32 at the half.
建工集团，湖南省首家房屋建筑工程总承包，特级资质企业集团，连续12年入选中国企业500强，连续16年荣获70项中国建设工程5等奖，致力打造成为集项目投资、运作、实施和经营能力于一体的总服务商，国内建筑业先锋企业，为国家经济和社会发展做出更大的贡献。
在观看比赛的同时，请您扫描您后面后面的 FIBA 和明年官方微博和微信二维码，关注 FIBA 和明年官方微博微信，还有您的有体育体育分析动态，提醒大家。
Welcome back to Chongsha, where Japan certainly set their sights right at the start of this one, shooting over 50% from the field in the first half, led by the 13 points of Furukawa, who hit 3 of 5 from downtown. 11 points for Hiyajima, who's also got 4 assists and 3 steals, and 9 points for Joji Takeuchi. What we didn't expect was that they would win the rebounding battle as well, double the offensive boards of Qatar, and winning the overall rebounding battle 12-11.
Yeah, that's right, and we talked about it being a game of contrasting styles. Would Japan have that confidence to go out and play that aggressive defense, push the ball in offense? And so often in knockout finals like this, we see teams who play a fast pace getting locked into a half-court grind. So far that hasn't happened. There were only a few moments here and there where Qatar got the ball at the game at their tempo. What happens in the second half? You know, fatigue starts to set in a little bit more. Can Japan still dare to win by just pushing the ball and taking risks? Or will those mental demons come back to bite? We'll wait and see. But so far, Japan, with their depth and their fitness and their intensity to rotate and cover for each other, have looked very much like the team going to the semi-finals.
They've had shooters who have perhaps underperformed at this tournament so far, stepping up and making big shots. Qatar with 8 points early on from Trey Johnson, but he hasn't scored since the first few minutes of the game, and then 8 points as well from Mohd Mohammed, who started to heat up inside. It looked like Qatar were going to come back into it, but Japan able to create a double-digit lead again. At the start of the second half, they lead by 14, 46-32.
Man-to-man defense from Qatar here. And we talked about it a number of times throughout the game. Momentum's so important. Can Japan extend this lead out and really force Qatar to try and play quicker and put points on the board faster than they would like?
Takeuchi looking to back it in, can't hit. Knocked away out of bounds, still Japan ball. Saeed frustrated he wasn't able to grab the rebound.
And what about the effort of Furukawa inside? There was 3 Qatar players, all bigger than him, and yet he still just manages to get a hand on it. And in the end, that means another possession for Japan.
Hiyashima to inbound to Arao, who's come into the game at the start of the second half. Tabuse, Furukawa. Takeuchi battling against Mohammed. Found a way to get the shot off but couldn't finish. Trey Johnson. Across to Ali Saad from the outside, another miss. They've struggled from downtown.
And again, a shot he can make, but not the sort of shot that Qatar want. Playing into Japan's hands.
Just 2 of 11 from the outside, Qatar. Furukawa, no problems for him. 16 points in the game, his 4th from downtown.
The same shot at each end, but it suits Japan so much better. And Qatar have to do a much better job of locating Furukawa in transition and in the half court.
Qatar 2 of 11 from 3, Japan 6 of 12 from 3. Ali Saad faked the 3-point shot this time. Trey Johnson's going to take it on. In and out, offensive boards, and a foul.
Good effort from Adam. I don't think we saw him in the first half. He's an energy guy for them. He did hurt his ankle earlier in the tournament, but he can be a monster offensive rebound once he gets his game going.
He's missed a couple of games in this tournament and missed the whole of the first half in this one. Offensive board sees him take a trip to the line after the foul.
When he was out with that injury, he seemed to fall behind Abdullah in the rotation. Abdullah seemed to get in earlier in games, but I think this is the man they've got to go to. He is so strong and physical inside. He plays to their strengths, and his ability to generate second shots earlier in the tournament, that was just locking opposition teams into the half court and giving players like Ali and Johnson more and more opportunities at the basket.
Tabuse. Lead for Japan is 16. Here's Tabuse again. Able to work it to Hiyajima. Shot clock down to 5 here for Hiyajima. Into Takeuchi. Well short and away for Qatar ball.
Some really good switching defense there from Qatar. It meant that screen action which had been working for Japan earlier in the game, it still left them out on the perimeter, and a tough contested shot at the end of the shot clock.
By Saeed to Ali. Ali across to the near side towards Daoud. The pass picked up easily by Japan. Here they come in transition to finish with Takeuchi, and the lead grows to 18.
He's 207 centimetres tall, but he runs like a greyhound up and down the floor, and he was rewarded by Tabusi that time.
Double figures now for Takeuchi. And he goes to Saeed, trying to create a route to the rim and fouled.
And that's been Qatar's best weapon so far. Get the ball to one side of the floor, kick it back to the top, and then get that seal inside, which you see there. And I think Takeuchi needs to take a little change in approach. He's got to get around the front. Don't let those guys seal him, and dare the Qatari guards to throw lob passes and see if they're good enough to do that.
He's been struggling recently. Irfan Ali Saeed, just 1 of 8 against China on Tuesday, after going 2 of 12 against Korea on Monday, 3 of 20 in the last 2 games.
Yeah, and he's been settling for the outside shot, which isn't his game. We've seen him hit some three-pointers in the tournament, but he's a beast. Look at the size of him. He's got to get under the hoop and do his work, especially against a small opponent like Japan.
He's not taken a shot from the field so far in this quarter-final. Gets them both to go from the foul line. Tabuse. Rao looking to move inside. Tabuse clinging onto it. Hiroshima. Shot clock at 5 again. Tabuse quickens the pace, pulls up for the mid-ranger. A little too long. Rao battling for the ball, but it's going to go Qatar's way.
I talked about Japan having arguably the best zone offense in the competition. Qatar having much more success defending man-to-man. And the reason they're able to do that is they can be one-on-one, get physical, stop the cutting action, pick the screens, and always have someone there to switch. Whereas against the zone, Japan can find the holes, players can cut unimpeded. Let's see what adjustments Japan and Coach Hasegawa make to this man defense.
Trey Johnson finding a way through and laying it up and in. His first score since the opening few minutes when he burst away for 8 points. Hiroshima to Tabuse. Takeuchi setting the screen, moves away. Takeuchi looking to get free here from the pass from Tabuse. There's that calmness, there's that composure, and there's the finish.
And you can just picture Takeuchi at a bus stop. He'd be reading a magazine. He hasn't had any problems waiting around. Every time he gets it inside, up fake, let the defender fly by, and he just finishes off inside.
Trey Johnson. Daoud looking to drive in for the mid-range 2. Foul underneath. Is it going to go on a row? If it is, that's his 4th.
And the team's 4th already this quarter. So that's a win for Qatar. Because a little bit of a dive there. There was some contact. He's exaggerated it. And that's smart play if you get the call.
Indeed it is. 4th on a row. And the 4th in the quarter on Japan after only 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
We saw the Chinese coach Gong Lu Ming watching on there. His team plays in the next game after this against India.
Trey Johnson. Ali's going to try from the outside again. Can't hit. Takeuchi grabs the rebound. 2 of 13 from 3-point range now. Ali is 1 of 5.
Yeah, I think they've got to get him some ball screens to use where he can come off it. He's much better shooting off the dribble.
Lovely move from Hiroshima. Double figures for him now as well. 3 for Japan, who've hit that milestone. Ali to Trey Johnson. Daoud. Saeed looking to go to work again. Had it knocked away, able to regather. And then put up by Ali, who can't finish either, and Qatar are really struggling.
They've got to make the most of those sorts of opportunities. It's just slowly eked its way out to an 18-point ball game. We saw there Japan into the 2-1-2 zone or the 2-3 zone to cover that hole in the middle. We saw in the first half, Qatar went to the corners to drag the big guys out. Can they make that recognition again and exploit that to get some easy baskets?
Tabuse. Approaching the midway point of the 3rd quarter. Furukawa. Hiroshima. Takeuchi. Tabuse spots the gap and turns on the afterburners and is left with an easy layup. And the lead has grown to 20, and Qatar are forced to call timeout.
There's Tabusi finding Takeuchi on the fast break. And look at that speed from the wing. Daoud is a good defender, but he had no chance of staying in front of Tabusi there.
Blink and he's past you. And Japan have raced into a 20-point lead at the midway point of the third quarter. Big win for reigning champions Iran in the first of the 4 quarterfinals on this court today. And Japan have a big lead in the second. They're up by 20 for Furukawa, the game's leading scorer with 16. He's hit 4 of 6 from the outside. Japan as a team 50% from downtown, but that doesn't tell the whole story. We've been impressed with their physicality inside as well.
Yeah, just their scrambling. They're not as strong as the Qatari players, but 1, 2, 3 white singlets always around the ball or around the Qatari big man with the ball. But looking to the other end, 2 of 13 from long range for Qatar. They've only taken 22-point shots, but they're shooting at 60%. They're falling into the trap of this zone of just shooting from the outside. They've got to continue to go to the post or penetrate at the basket.
Daoud, shot clock already down at 5 here, and to move it back to the perimeter, they're going to have to put up another 3. It's another miss. Here comes Tabusi. And he goes towards Otter, who gets free behind the defense to finish.
You see Japan, they push the ball down the floor, but they don't always take the quick shot. But what it does is it allows them 20 seconds of offense to try and pick the hole in the Qatari defense, rather than walking the ball down the court and having maybe 12 or 14 seconds to do it.
5 assists in the game for Tabusi. Entry pass in towards Mohammed. Out of bounds and Japan ball.
And that's exactly what we talked about earlier. Rather than Takeuchi being stuck behind the post up, we saw there's a nice no-look pass inside from Tabusi. That time Takeuchi fronted the post and made the Qatari guard make a much tougher pass. Ends in the turnover.
Hijima. And it goes to Takeuchi. Over towards the far side, picked off by Saeed, and then a foul on Tabusi.
And Tabusi thought that was a smart foul, but that's actually the 5th team foul. So just as Japan had Qatar suffocated in the half court, he lets the pressure valve off, and it'll be 2 free throws.
Japan have plenty of breathing room at the moment, a 22-point lead, but an opportunity with still around 4 minutes left in the third for Qatar to get to the line. And here they are with Saeed, who can't get the first to go. Hit both on his first trip to the foul line, misses the first on his second trip.
He's actually shooting 81% from the free throw line coming into this game. Misses 2 out of 2.
And they get the offensive board though and put it back in, so a break for Qatar. 20-point Japan lead now. Tabusi. Looking to control the half court, finds Furukawa for 3. Can't hit that time.
This man's dangerous in the open floor.
Mohammed towards the baseline, forced away by Furukawa. And he goes to Saeed. Saeed looking to roll away from Takeuchi, who gets called for the foul.
He'll get a chance to make up for those 2 free throws. That's one of the first times there's no double team there. Furukawa too slow to come. That's one of the first few times this game where as soon as the ball's gone to the low post, there hasn't been at least an additional defender, if not 2, swarming down and forcing Qatar to the 3-point line where they've struggled badly so far.
So Saeed 2 from 2 on his first trip, 0 from 2 on his second trip. And misses that one, so 3 misses in a row now for Saeed. In the position they're in, they can't afford to miss foul shots.
Yeah, with each missed free throw, we see Qatari heads just drop a little more. They're starting to question whether they can win this game.
Does get the second one. They've missed 6 from the line though, only shooting 57% in the game.
Full court defense here from Qatar.
Hijima able to play out of it to Furukawa, who pulls up for 3. Back-to-back misses from the outside for him.
Yeah, but I like that shot. It wasn't a safe shot. We said Japan have to dare to win. They're going to continue to play fast and still make that shot more often than he misses it.
Movement around the perimeter, then inside, picked off from Mo Mohammed. Tabuse directing traffic. Hijima back to Tabuse. Using the full extent of the shot clock, then they'll step inside for Furukawa, taking it on, and a little bit closer to the basket, knocking it down.
What about that by Tabuse? He had the chance to push it, but he said, hang on, we just missed a quick shot. Furukawa missed it, but I'm going to run a play for him and get him a mid-range shot, and he nails it.
High pass in towards Saeed, who's fouled again. It's going to be on Takeuchi. Be number 3 on him. And Saeed back to the line. Matsui into the game for Japan. Out comes Takeuchi, out comes Furukawa. They get the high 5 from the bench. Saeed does a big job to do from the foul line here again.
We saw some full court pressure last time from Qatar. I'd like to see them go back to that lineup with 4 smalls that they tried late in the second quarter and then go with some full court pressure so they can scramble and recover. See if they can get some steals and then they'll have the athleticism to finish in the open court.
Deficit down to 19. Here's Tabuse. Onto the far side to Matsui. Tabuse again. Looking to shake off the attentions of Sards. Ono. In towards Matsui. Picked off by Qatar. A chance to build up a bit of steam towards the end of the third quarter. Trey Johnson into the paint. Tough move. Offensive ball for Mo Mohammed. Out of bounds. And still Qatar ball.
If you can't beat a zone defense in the half court, get down the floor before it and attack the rim. Trey Johnson did it that time. It didn't finish. And even though Qatar love to play slow-down basketball, they're 19 points behind. They're going to have to put the foot on the accelerator and take some of those risks.
Here is Trey Johnson. Sards. Trey Johnson moves it in towards Mohammed. Back out to Sard for 3. Right at the end of the shot clock. Huge shot for Qatar. They hit just 2 of 14 from the outside before that one. They've got within 16.
Huge 80 seconds coming up before three-quarter time.
Hijima. Right at the end of the shot clock again. Hung up and hung in with unerring accuracy from Yuta Tabuse.
And he just seems to be controlling this game, Tabuse. He knows when to go quick, he knows when to be poised, and he knows when to step up and score himself.
Final minute of the third. Qatar going for another 3 off the mark by Mohammed. Offensive board again. Saeed onto Mo Mohammed, back to Saeed, and he puts it in.
The offensive rebound numbers just starting to swing around. It's 6-1 this quarter. And that's another area Qatar are going to have to dominate. But 16-point ball game, they're a chance here. They need to get a stop, though.
Hijima called for a travel here, and they have a chance before the end of the third to make it even closer. Japan just opening the door slightly for Qatar.
Trey Johnson brought in as the naturalized American. This is exactly what he's on the court for. At big moments, they need to him to make a big play.
Here is Trey Johnson. Sard across to the near side to Mohammed for 3. Mohammed knocks another one down from the outside, and Qatar within 13 at the end of the third. Still time for one more shot for Japan. They can get over half court. Matsui for 3. Can't hit. And we've got a game on our hands in the fourth. When we return, a couple from downtown for Qatar to cut the deficit down from around 20 to 13. At the end of three, it's Japan who leads 63-50 over Qatar.
And it was a 21-point ball game. Had Japan been able to hold that lead, game would have been over right now. It would have taken a miracle. All of a sudden, 13 points the first few minutes of this final quarter become really crucial. And we talked about the offensive rebounding, 6-1 in that quarter. Maybe that's the fatigue. Qatar again cut their turnovers down from halftime, so a much better quarter. But just so important, the fatigue that comes out. This man, he found Furukawa, and that's been a great combination for Japan tonight. And as Japan get tired, can they continue to battle the bigger bodies? Can they continue to scramble defensively? And can they run the floor as hard as they did here? They have to. They want to go to the semi-finals. That's the style of play that suits them. Whereas this man, look at that move. Went up with the right, finished with the left. Tabusi says, oh, that was nice. And there's Hijima. He's one of the players that's had answers all night long, as is this man, Tabusi. But the test is on them now. Saad, he's a driver, but this time he became a shooter, and that was a massive shot. And that was followed up with another three-pointer, brings it back to 13. We talked about, do Japan have the mental toughness to play their game for four quarters? Well, we are about to find out.
And Qatar hit just 2 of their first 14 from the outside. They hit 2 of their last 3 in that third quarter to close the gap. Japan have just slightly been forced to take their foot off the pedal. And they've missed their last few from the outside.
I think that 2-3 or 2-1-2 defense works a lot better for Japan, where they can cover inside but still get out to the corners.
Japan 63, Qatar 50 at the start of the fourth. Qatar with the momentum though. Trey Johnson to Mo Mohammed. It's the other Mohammed who puts it up from that spot again and hits another one to make it a 10-point game.
Japan continued with the 3-2. It got sucked into the top of the keyway. Mohammed makes him pay, and listen to the crowd here in Chongsha.
Takeuchi up against Saeed. Hijima. Tough defense from Trey Johnson. Furukawa steps in for the 2 and gets fouled and will go to the line.
The referee gives a stare at Saad there. He was right on the cusp of a technical foul. Nice pull-up from Furukawa. That was a foul. He got him on the elbow. And Furukawa, he hasn't hesitated at all tonight. And he's going to have to stick a couple in this final quarter. We're back to a 10-point game.
4th foul on Saad. Furukawa at the line with big free throws now. Hits the first. 3 of 3 from the foul line. 6 of 11 from the field. 4 of 8 from downtown. This next one would take him to 20 points in the game.
Sometimes as a coach, I think you feel comfortable having a player like Furukawa come into a knockout game having struggled, because you know it won't continue all tournament. He's got so much pride and so much talent. He's been a star tonight.
He had it in him to come up with this kind of a game, and Qatar turned it over here.
And 2 crucial plays from Qatar, almost, you call them brain fades. The first one fouling the jump shooter, the second one a charge, a moving screen, and gives away the offensive foul. And just as they had Japan by the throat, a chance to get back into the game, they release the pressure.
Furukawa to Tabuse. From the foul line, they put it up, they put it short. Takeuchi trying to grab it, Qatar come away with it. Let's see if they can start to build some momentum again. Trey Johnson. Daoud with the entry pass in towards Mo Mohammed, who gets in behind to finish.
Tough pass for a big fella. Beautifully weighted.
Tabuse, how about that for a pass to find Otter free.
And that looks to me like a team, Qatar, trying to press when they're not used to doing it. The back line breaking down.
Trey Johnson. Japan's lead is 12 with just over 8 minutes to play, and it goes to Mo Mohammed again. One-on-one opportunity against Otter, and he squeezes it in. Takeuchi grabs it.
And Qatar making 3-point shots has forced Japan to go one-on-one in the low post, but Qatar couldn't make a play there.
Furukawa for 3. Another miss from him now. I think he's missed his last 3. Here's Mohammed. And he goes towards Saeed, gets away. Can't quite finish, but he'll go to the line again for another 2.
Japan haven't taken a timeout here in the second half. I think they need to. We talked about them challenging Qatar to make that pass over the top. They've done it 3 or 4 times now. So they need a change in defensive strategy. It's a tough one, though. The little men for Qatar are starting to connect. The big men are still big and strong. And that's the 4th foul on Takeuchi. It's a big moment here for Japan with their star big man off the court.
And Qatar looking to close the gap with Saeed at the line. He gets the first to go. 6 of 9 from the foul line. And the next one would make it a 10-point game again with 8 minutes to play. And an opportunity to take advantage with Takeuchi off the court. He's well wide with the second one.
Man-on-man defense. I'd love to see Tabusi with the ball, working off the ball screen, setting up a teammate for a shot. They're going to get some good looks here.
Furukawa to Arao. Hiyajima back to Arao again. Got the freedom of that side of the court, then finds Tabuse. But he lost the handle on the ball, and Qatar can come in transition. Mohammed knocked away from behind. What a way to recover from Tabuse.
How about the speed? He was way out of that play, but he's just so quick that as a ball handler, you've got to be looking in your rear vision mirror the whole time.
Now we'll slow it down. Hiyajima, Furukawa, forced away to Otter. Final 5 seconds of the shot clock here. Hiyajima, lovely dribble again, difficult shot, and he nails it. Hiyajima hits the long 2.
Yeah, when people talked about tough Japanese players at the start of this tournament, Hiyajima was not one who was mentioned regularly. And there is a tough player.
Otter. That's going to be on Arao instead.
And that's Johnson putting pressure on the defense early. I think he needs to continue to do that.
Arao's fouled out of the game here. That's his 5th. What a shot that was from Hiyajima. Johnson hits the first, has 11 points in the game now. Gets them both. 11-point game. Tabuse with a job to get over half court. Away from Abdi. Finds Hiyajima. Hiyajima driving in. Couldn't get it to drop. Look at the Qatar run, 18-8. They're trying to extend that here with Abdi on the outside. Trey Johnson. Back into Abdi. Can't bank it in. Furukawa grabs the rebound.
Gee, the shot missed, but what great recognition from Trey Johnson. He had the open 3-pointer, but he saw that Tabusi was on Abdi inside. He got the ball into him. They just couldn't finish the play.
Hiyajima to Ono. Furukawa can make a cut to the basket. Tabuse calling for it on the perimeter. He'll take the shot on himself, well short. And then the foul as Otter picked it up and went to try and finish.
It was something we said right in the first quarter. Is this the day where Otter steps up and really establishes himself as a quality big man for Japan? And with Takeuchi on the bench with 4 fouls, Arao fouled out. What a big play for him there on the offensive glass.
Japan are just about doing enough at the moment to hold Qatar at bay. Just.
You look at foul trouble for Qatar. They've got Saeed on 4 and Abdulrahman Saad on 4. And Saeed inside has been so powerful for them in the second half.
Otter making that one, making it a 12-point game. Japan 6 minutes away from a place in the Final Four, but still with plenty of work to do. Trey Johnson.
There's noticeably less intensity in their defense, and they're allowing easy passes inside like this one.
Saeed, what a turn to finish. He certainly lifted his intensity. 10-point game, 5.5 to play. Tabuse. Furukawa trying to get free. Here's Hiyashima. Hiyashima hangs it up in the lane, can't hit. And Qatar can come to try and make it a single-digit game, and there's a foul in transition. A collision that sends Hiyashima to the floor.
That was a crude foul. There's no disguising that. He just wanted to stop the fast break. And we finally do get that timeout from Japan.
Furukawa it was who fell to the floor and ran into Tabuse. 5 minutes and 19 seconds to play. Japan leading by 10. 70-60. Furukawa hobbling a little bit. They've already lost a round to foul trouble. Takeuchi sitting with 4. And Japan, you feel, are going to need to huff and puff to get over the finish line in this one.
Yeah, well, they are huffing and puffing a little bit, but they've got to play through this. We saw in the first half, the pressure defense on Qatar was outstanding from Japan, but now they're settling back into that zone. We've said they have to dare to win. Part of that is playing full court pressure defense the whole game, or at least being disruptive in the half court. Qatar, they love the half court sets. If you allow them to execute, they are going to score, and that's what we're seeing here in the final term. Japan need to come out of this timeout with a new approach.
70-60, the Japan leads, led by the 20 points of Furukawa, who hit 4 of his first 6 from downtown, but he's missed his last 3 and a little shaken up on the last play as he was knocked to the floor.
And one thing Qatar have done, they've gone back to man-to-man defense. They've upped the physicality. They're making it hard for Japan to get through their offensive sets, which involve a lot of screening and a lot of cutting motion. I think Japan need to try and exploit a couple of backdoor plays, take them out to the perimeter, get them in the passing lanes, and then fly backdoor to the basket, see if they can get a cheap one.
Trey Johnson, Qatar hoping to make it a single-digit game for the final 5 minutes. And it goes into Mo Mohammed to Abdi from the far side, short, and grabbed by Tanaka.
Again, good execution from Qatar, inside-outside play. Just can't get the jump shot to stick.
Furukawa back to Tabuse. Across that midway point of the 4th quarter. Ono, Tabuse. Tanaka trying to make himself available, receives it now. 5 seconds of the shot clock. Tanaka pulls up for the long 2. Difficult shot won't go.
They're all contested jump shots at the moment for Japan.
Johnson hangs it up from the foul line and puts it in to make it a single-digit game. Qatar from 21 down, getting close.
How long do you keep Joji Takeuchi on the bench if you're Coach Hasegawa? In fact, he walks to the bench now to check back in.
Also coming to set the screen, trying to create some room for Tabuse onto Furukawa. Back out to Ono for 3. Miss for Japan, and batted out of bounds. It's still going to be their ball. Qatar not happy with the call. They're convinced it should have gone the other way.
The referee is not, though. They're not even having a chat. The referee says, no, it's Japan ball. And that's just the 3rd offensive rebound for Japan in this half. And I think they're going to have to get on the O board, secure a couple. And with Takeuchi back into the game, he's just the man to do it.
Hiyashima to inbound with 4 minutes remaining. Japan's lead has been steadily disappearing. Tabuse. Takeuchi set the screen on the perimeter. Tabuse back to Hiyashima for the long 2. Nothing but net for him right at the end of the shot clock.
That was execution to perfection right there. Tabuse running the clock down, and then a dribble handoff to Hiyashima.
Trey Johnson looking to attack, forces the foul on Furukawa.
That's the 4th, as we see Johnson again looking to go to the hole. And he's been a jump shooter for much of this tournament, but Today, I think he's just got to get into the basket because Japan don't have the shot blockers to stop him.
Trey Johnson. Saeed across to the far side. Saad is open for the three. Just short. Qatar trying to reel in the rebound, out of bounds, and it's still going to be their ball.
Look for them to seal a big man either off the out of bounds or once they get to the top of the key.
Saad thought about the three again. Trey Johnson.
Got a mismatch, or well covered there by Hiyajima.
Saeed, he's going to take on the three. Way too long, grabbed by Takeuchi.
They're still within striking distance at 10 down, but they can't afford Saeed to be taking three-point baskets. Their execution has to be on point for these last 3 minutes.
Final 3 minutes and change with Tabuse slowing it down to the final 5 seconds of the shot clock again as Hiyajima puts it up, can't finish. Qatar can look to run and gun now with Saad. Looking across to the far side, it was picked off. Excellent transition defense from Japan that time.
I was about to say, Hiyajima's gone cold. Maybe it's time to look somewhere else, but he steps up and makes a defensive play.
Tabuse. Wriggles away from Trey Johnson. Tabuse getting away, then he was looking for Furukawa in the corner and he moved the other way. Turnover.
Furukawa looks tired. Qatar are taking time out, and Furukawa and Hiyajima have been so important, but there's great depth on this Japanese team. Do you insert a couple of players off the bench, whether it's Tanaka, whether it's Matsui, get them in there, see if they can just give them a boost just for a minute or so, and then get your stars back into the game.
4 in double figures now for Qatar, led by the 14 of Trey Johnson. They've got 12 from Mohd Mohammed, 10 apiece from the other Mohammed, who's hit 3 of 7 from downtown, and then 10 as well from Saeed. Johnson stepping up though to lead his team in scoring. Will it be enough to get them close enough in the time they have remaining here? Certainly Japan are waning, Qatar are growing. It's just about whether they're going to run out of time.
Yeah, that's right, there's no question. And another Japanese player who's looking tired is Tabuse, and usually he gets reserve minutes from Hashimoto, but Hashimoto hasn't been in the ball game at all tonight. So has Tabuse, at 34 years of age, got the legs left to carry this offense home for Japan.
He's played 34 minutes, Tabuse. 6 assists in the game. There's Trey Johnson. On by Daoud to Saad. Back to Trey Johnson again. Saad wide open, freedom of the court, but he misses the three-pointer.
That would have made things very interesting. Now, just over 2 minutes left, the clock becomes Japan's friend. They just need to execute here.
Could have put up the shot from the foul line, but he wants to take those precious seconds away from Qatar. Furukawa spinning into the lane. Beautiful move as he took the ball one way and then the other, hung in the air and hit.
What confidence. You know, he'd gone a little quiet in this second half, but that was a tough move going in. 2 defenders.
Trey Johnson. Scoring's just dried up for a moment for Qatar as Johnson misses. It's Qatar who come away with it here. Mohammed for another three. Yes! Hassan Mohammed lighting it up from the outside. His 4th from three-point range makes it a single-digit game with 90 seconds to play.
3-possession ball game. Just over a minute and a half. There was the turnover they needed. I think they may have called a foul on Daoud here.
I think they have. Furukawa knocked to the floor.
That's a big call. I think it happened after he'd lost the basketball, so very unlucky there, Daoud, and how that would have swung the game if Qatar had got 2 cheap points there.
Qatar are running out of room, running out of time. Daoud picks up his second. It's still Japan possession, and just 86 seconds to play.
The key here for Japan too, transition defense. The shot goes up, Forget about the offensive rebounds now. They've got a buffer. Just get back. Don't let Qatar get a shot up in the first 8 to 10 seconds of the shot clock.
Yajima looking to get the ball in and does to Takeuchi. Tabuse. And then the foul comes from Abdul Rahman Saad. We're over the foul limit, so Japan will shoot 2.
That's 5 fouls for Abdul Rahman Saad. Checks out, he's only got 3 points, and had he hit a couple of those shots, this could be a very close ball game right now.
Japan looking to sew up their place in the final 4 from the foul line. First one off the mark. Japan's shooting in the first half, just giving Qatar almost too much to do. They were over 50% from the field before half-time and doing well with the rebounding inside as well. It's a 10-point game with 81 seconds to play. Foul on Hiyajima here.
And that's exactly what Japan didn't need. You know, just 4 seconds off the shot clock. Qatar now get the chance to put 2 points on the board, get this back to an 8-point ball game.
It's Trey Johnson who's going to go to the line. He's 4 of 4 here today. 5 of 10 from the field, en route to his now 15 points. Important foul shots. He makes them both and makes it an 8-point game.
Tool heads here from Japan. There's going to be a lot of pressure defense.
They're trying to force the steal, very nearly did. Japan able to play out of the pressure. Furukawa to try and cling onto it. Takeuchi.
Smart play from Furukawa.
And then the foul comes from Abdi.
Japan haven't been to the Final 4 of this tournament since 1997. They're just moments away now. And what smart play from the veteran, Furukawa. He could have gone in with a 2-on-1 fast break. He kept the ball out, he milked the clock, and now they get 2 free throws.
They're within touching distance of the Final 4. And they're a team that's grown through the tournament as well. Heating up at the right time, players that can step up, different players that can step up in any given game. Just 1 minute and 5 seconds separates them from a place in the semi-finals here at the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship.
And since 1997, when they took the silver medal, they have lost 6 straight quarterfinals. So what a monkey off the back this would be for Japan.
Tabuse able to hit them both. Qatar will call timeout with 1 minute and 5 seconds to play. They're down by double figures though, and in need of a miracle. And it looks as though Japan are going to break that run of quarter-final defeats and make it to the Final 4 here in Changsha.
At the start of the game, we pointed out that 2 of the 3 losses for Qatar had been against high-speed East Asian teams, China and Chinese Taipei. They hadn't been able to thrive in their half-court style in that game. Against Korea, they dominated the boards, which allowed them to control the tempo. They starved Korea of opportunities, and here's some of the work by Furukawa. He'd had a quiet tournament by his standards. He wasn't going to let his team fail for the 7th straight time at quarterfinal time. But we talk about the rebounding today. 11 offensive boards to Qatar, 9 offensive boards for Japan. They've rebounded 67% of the boards at their defensive end, and that's a solid number in that category, and that's allowed them to play the game they want to play and test the Qataris out at speed. And the second half has become a half-court grind, but their running game in the first half gave them the buffer they needed, and it looks like, barring a miracle, they're headed to the semis.
Just over a minute to play. Trey Johnson to inbound into Hassan Mohammed, who's done his best in this second half to try and cut the deficit. Will try from the outside again. Can't make it. 5 from downtown. Foul on Daoud. Japan are edging closer and closer.
2 free throws for Hiyojima. It looked for a second there that the referee was going to call that out of bounds, but he was just going to let that little bit of contact go. Once he saw it spill out of bounds, he pinged the foul on Daoud. And you'd think these two could close the door on Qatar.
Just got to dot the I's and cross the T's on this quarter-final performance. Hiyojima 16 points in the game, as well as 4 assists and 4 steals.
5 rebounds as well.
Make it 17 points. Qatar looking for a quick score. Not going to give up until the final buzzer. Trey Johnson hangs in the air but can't finish. Backed it away. Still Qatar ball. Mohammed driving inside. Japan cutting off the lane to the basket again.
And the Japanese reserves, they get up off the bench, they applaud their team. They had to do it without that man Takeuchi for a large stretch in the final quarter. He was on the bench with 4 fouls. But now he's given such great service to his team. He's been a double-double machine for Japan, and now he can be the one who firmly puts them into the semi-finals for the first time in 18 years.
13 points and 7 boards for him in this one here today. Misses his first foul shot, but won't have too much of a negative impact. They're up by 12. They're closing in on the final 4.
You see, they're not even contesting the offensive rebound here. They're just all about stopping quick 3-pointers.
So 14 in the game for Takeuchi. Japan ready to join champions, reigning champions Iran in the final 4. Trey Johnson across to the far side. They will take the 3. No, they won't. Now they will from Daoud. The extra pass. Takeuchi then fouled by Trey Johnson. Qatar are going through the motions, but Japan will play in the semi-finals.
Despair there from Trey Johnson, and we've talked about Hiyojima at the offensive end, but he's been the one guarding Johnson when they've gone to man-on-man, and a number of times he's either forced him into tough shots or not given ground, so Johnson's had to dish the ball out.
Takeuchi back at the foul line, hitting his first one this time. 15 points for the number 15. 4 in double figures for Japan, led by those 20 points for Furukawa, 22 points for Furukawa now, 17 for Hiyojima, 15 for Takeuchi, and 12 for Tabuse, as well as those 6 assists. Qatar will run the clock down, and that will be the end of the run towards the podium for them. It's Japan who take it by 14, led by the 22 points of sharpshooter Furukawa, who hit 4 of 6 from downtown in the first half and then did damage inside in the second. Japan win it 81-67.
You see what it means to these Japanese players. They are embracing. What an enormous win for them. At the start of the tournament, they've got some quality players missing, but all of a sudden, they're into the Final 4. They celebrate mid-court as we see some of the stats come up. 53% from close in, 35% from long range, but they were hot early. They made some key shots, and they didn't allow Qatar to get this game into a grind as they wanted to. The Japanese players applaud the crowd. It was a stunning performance. As I said, they're missing some key players, most notably Watanabe and Kosaka Takeuchi, the brother of. And nobody in Japan rated this team a medal chance. I don't think many people at this tournament did. But they are some quality players. Furukawa, he was outstanding. Hiyojima, for me, he was the player of the game. Not only was he great offensively scoring, but he broke open the Qatar defense. He did a great job defensively. And that man Takeuchi leading him on the boards as he did. Mohammed had 8 rebounds. He was really damaging inside early, but Qatar went away from him in the low block, perhaps when they started hitting those 3-point shots. And it was this team, Japan, who are on their way through. And what a stunning opening quarter it was. We see there the blow to the mouth of Takeuchi. He had a bit of blood coming out, so Furukawa stepped up with his big man on the bench. You see the excitement on his face. And you could even sense it during the national anthem. There was a real sense of determination about this Japanese team. They were willing to jump over tall buildings or even bench chairs to get this one.
They've looked more and more focused the longer the tournament has gone on, and they'll be a real danger to the Philippines or Lebanon in these semi-finals.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they may have been written off early because their opening game against Iran, they got blown out of the water, but the big, powerful Iran, we saw what they did earlier today in their quarterfinal against Korea. They're a tough opponent, and perhaps that was a good thing as we see Debussy slicing to the basket. He was off the mark in that first game against Iran too. So many of these Japanese players have just been able to work their way into the tournament. Qatar challenged them. They were tough inside. Saeed, he was a force inside along with Mohammed. But as you said, they needed a bit more time. And just as it ticked down to 2 and 3 minutes, Japan, there were some miscues for them, some nervous moments, but they were able to make enough plays like this one to put the pressure back on Qatar, and eventually Qatar had to start rushing up three-point shots. They couldn't continue to hit them, and it was Japan who moved to the semi-finals.
احنا على اللايف، احنا على الهواء. نعم سامع الاستوديو.